So today, lads, we got to talk about something a little bit crazy, and it is the Indiana Fever 2026 calendar. And look, I don't know what's going on. I don't know how much involvement the Indiana Fever have with this specific thing. If we're going to be real, they might have very little involvement. But the reality is they're almost certainly, like, this type of thing is ran by the teams. Is ran by the organizations. And if you guys look at the Indiana Fever calendar, they have Kelsey Mitchell, there's KK, there's Bree Turner, there's Aaliyah, there's the Quitter, Natasha Howard, Sydney Colson, Lexi Hall, Freddie fucking Fever, Sophie Cunningham, Demir Stantis, Christy Wallace, and who's not there? Who's not there? Who's not there? That's the real question. Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is the player who is not currently there. And that is, for me, that's one of those things where I just think this is a bad look at the Indiana. Like, a lot of people are saying, oh, the Indiana Fever didn't put out this calendar. Like, they're not the ones that put it out. And I get it. The Indiana Fever themselves are not the ones who are out here making this calendar. There is a big but, though, is that teams absolutely have control about what goes out. They have control about what goes out. And by the way, like, for people saying, oh, Caitlin Clark didn't give her rights to this calendar, like, players' rights players' rights when it comes to the team are independent. Like, the Indiana Fever, as far as I'm aware, are allowed go and have like a team deal. Like, the Indiana Fever are allowed work with a company that's allowed sponsor the Indiana Fever or allowed work with the Fever without every single individual player say so. Is there a possibility that Caitlin Clark said no to the calendar? Yes. That being said, the same company that made this calendar has their own Caitlin Clark specific calendar, which is a bad look as well. And look, I mean this when I say this. This is sports. This is a 2026 calendar. Christy Wallace left the team before certain players signed for the team. Christy Wallace was gone before Bree Turner signed. So this isn't one of those things where it's like, oh, maybe they made it early. There is Ari McDonald, Chloe Bibby, who signed full season contracts with the Indiana Fever. Difference made for Shea Petty and Odyssey Sims. And you chose to put DeWanna Bonner in. You chose to put a player who literally quit. And by the way, people have looked through every other team's calendar. The only star player that's missing is Caitlin Clark. Every other team has their star players, other than the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark. And look, you see the big WNBPA sticker that people are pointing to saying, oh, the WNBPA were the reason. Turner licensing Caitlin Clark. I just googled, same company. They released a Caitlin Clark only calendar for more expensive. Obviously, this is TJ Maxx. Is Bonner on there? DeWanna Bonner and Christy Wallace are on the calendar. People are like, it's Photoshop. It's obviously not Photoshop. Every single team has one of these. It might be badly made. But for me, it's just one of those things where you've got a lot of fans. By the way, I don't think the WNBPA had anything to do with this. I don't know if I don't think this is actively out there to spite Caitlin. But, like, when it comes to this, I just don't know how. I don't really know how we can look at this in any other way than it's just crazy. It's like, I don't know how you can look at this and think anything other than what the hell is going on. Because at the end of the day, it's this is now a situation where this is not the first time this has happened. Let's not forget, they had the WNBPA gave the rights to a certain companies as like star phone cases, and it was like all the WNBA stars except Caitlin Clark. And that's the thing where it's like there's certain licensing deals that aren't individual, that they're made through the PA. There's no, even though this does say WNBPA, there's no guarantee of that. But as somebody who has worked closely for years with 2K, has spoken to 2K about licensing, it's the same when it comes to EA with EAFC. FIFA Pro have the players' likenesses. So there are certain things where it be through a video game whether it be through, like for certain advertising things, you can get certain licenses to use players in certain situations without, in fact, going through the individual player. So it seems like this is a choice. The likelihood is, I think there is a greater likelihood that this is this company doesn't have Caitlin Clark on the Fever calendar because they want to make people buy the Caitlin Clark calendar. I think that's a more likely outcome than the WNBPA trying to spike Caitlin Clark. But for me, the Indiana Fever, like again, with all these companies, this type of shit is always ran by teams. Before they release these things, it's almost certainly always ran by teams, especially if you're putting the team logo there. It's almost always ran by them. Why did the Indiana Fever okay this? Like, I get it in a lot of these scenarios. The teams don't really care. It's probably somebody realistically that wasn't even looking. Someone probably just said, yeah, that's fine. They were like, oh, they're making a calendar. Do you want to take a look? And maybe didn't even open it and just said, yeah, it's fine. It's a fucking calendar. What the hell can you do with a calendar? But you've got the Indiana Fever in what is an official, again, not released by them, but an official calendar. An official calendar for their team doesn't have their team star player. And they're the only team in the WNBA that doesn't. Like, I don't think this is a PA thing. I don't know how this happened. There's a bunch of reasons it could happen. The most likely scenario is, again, that they realize that they can make more money off Caitlin Clark calendar by herself. When the Fever should never let this get out. The Fever should never let this get out. As you can see there, there's a WNBA elite calendar that doesn't include Caitlin Clark. Obviously, the Sky have Angel Reese, and that's the thing with all of this. And I don't know if it's disrespect towards Caitlin because they're trying to sell a Caitlin Clark calendar by itself. Maybe they think that people will buy 2 or 3 calendars. But I don't think putting Caitlin on a Fever calendar drops sales of the Caitlin Clark calendar. And I don't know. I just think this is weird. I think this whole scenario is weird, and that's probably the best way I can describe it, is that all of this is just really weird. It's just really, really weird. And it's funny where it's like, you've got I tweeted, I was like, the Fever released an official calendar which has DeWanna Bonner, Christy Wallace, but no Caitlin Clark. And the amount of people that are like, oh, the Fever didn't do this. It was, the Fever had nothing to do with this. It was this company. And it's like, no. The Fever greenlit it. And yes, the WNBPA absolutely greenlit it as well. But yeah, look, for me, this is not that it's a nothing scenario, because it is annoying. It is obviously annoying. But like, I think it's kind of a nothing scenario, but it's just weird. It's just the way Caitlin Clark's been treated by this league, by a lot of the players in this league. We can all be in agreement that it's weird. Like, you don't have to say that, like, oh, they're out to get Caitlin Clark. But the way Caitlin is being treated specifically by the league's partners, and this is not the first time this has happened with something with the WNBPA branding on it, that we've seen Caitlin just be left out for no apparent reason. But yeah, that's pretty much it, lads. That's the video. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys later on today for 2 or 3 more videos. See you guys.